Welcome everybody. What we're doing is we're going to take a look at lesson 2.9 and we're going to figure out how we can draw a diagram to solve a division problem. And the diagram that we're going to be drawing is we're going to be drawing bar models to help us figure out the relationship between two quantities. We have a little story scenario here. It says a pumpkin weighs 3 times as much as a squash. They're a combined weight of 20 pounds, and we wanted to figure out how much does each weigh. Well, we start with what we know. We know that the squash and the pumpkin combined have to total 20 pounds. Now, the relationship that we see between the pumpkin and the squash is that the pumpkin is 3 times greater than the squash. Since we don't know anything about the squash, we're going to represent that squash with one rectangle. And since the pumpkin is 3 times as much as the squash, 3 times as much as that one rectangle that we use to represent the squash is 3. So now the pumpkin is 3 times as much as the squash, just based on the rectangles that we made. We know that these rectangles combined have to add up to 20 pounds. And if there are 4 of those rectangles, we're going to take them and we're going to divide that 20 pounds that they need to add up to by 4. Therefore, each one of these rectangles would stand for 5 pounds. Now, what we need to do is we need to figure out how much each one weighs. Well, the squash, we can see, has 1 box of 5 pounds. Therefore, the squash is going to weigh 5 pounds. And we could see that the pumpkin has 3 boxes of 5. Therefore, the pumpkin would be weighing 15 pounds. Now, what we've created is we have 15 plus 5 equals that 20 pounds that they're a combined weight of. And now we could see that the pumpkin is 3 times as much as the squash is. All right. That's how that's how we use a bar model to compare quantities. Let's take a look at a few more examples. Here's this next one. It says Sean went fishing and caught a blue marlin and an amberjack. The weight of the blue marlin was 12 times the amount of the amberjack, and together they weighed 273 pounds. How much does each fish weigh? Well, we have the amberjack and we have the blue marlin. We know that the weight of the blue marlin was 12 times as much of the weight as the amberjack. We don't know anything about the amberjack here, so since we don't know anything about the amberjack, we're going to represent the amberjack with 1 rectangle. The blue marlin, since the blue marlin is 12 times the amount as the amberjack, 12 times that amount is 12. So we're going to represent the blue marlin with 12 boxes. So now, just based on the rectangles, the bar models that we've made, the blue marlin is 12 times the amount as is 12 times the amount of the amberjack. Right now, what we have is we have all these boxes have to combine and add up to this 273 pounds. Now, how many boxes are there? There are 12 from the blue marlin and 1 from the amberjack. That gives us 13 boxes that we need to divide this 273 into. And if I took 273 divided by 13, what you see here is I would get the answer of 21 with no remainder left. That means each one of these boxes represents 21 pounds. Now at this point I check my question part, and the question is asking us how much does each one of these fish weigh. Well, we could see right here the amberjack would weigh 21 pounds because it's just 1 box of 21. Now for the blue marlin, we have 12 boxes of 21, 12 groups of 21. So in order to figure that out, we're going to need to take this 21 and we're going to need to multiply it by 12. And as you can see, if you take 21 and multiply it by 12, you have your answer of 252. Therefore, the amberjack would weigh 21 pounds, and the blue marlin would weigh 252 pounds. Together, their combined weight equals 273 pounds, and now the blue marlin is 12 times the amount of the amberjack. Here's one last example. It says Kevin is starting a saltwater aquarium with 36 fish. He wants to have 11 times the amount of damselfish as clownfish. How many damselfish will he have? Well, we start out with our damselfish, and we know that he wants to have 11 times the amount of damselfish to clownfish. Well, we don't know clownfish what that quantity is, so we're going to represent the clownfish with just one box. But we do know that the relationship to the clownfish from the damselfish he wants to have 11 times that amount. Well, 11 times this amount, which is 1, would be 11. So we're going to represent 11 boxes for the damselfish. So what you now have here is you have boxes that represent that the damselfish is 11 times the amount of the clownfish. We know that these boxes together have to combine and add up to 36, and we're going to take that, so we're going to take that 36 and we're going to divide it by the 12 total boxes that we have here. Alright, and that means that each one of these boxes would represent 3 fish. So now, in order to figure out how much he would have of each fish, we count the value of the boxes. Well, the clownfish is only one box of 3, therefore he would have 3 clownfish. And we could see here that he has 11 groups of 3, therefore the damselfish, he would have 11 times the 3, which is 33 of the damselfish. Now the question asks how many damselfish he will have. Well, the answer in this case, the only answer that is important is the 33 damselfish. And that's how you compare the quantity, the relationship, and the quantity of 2 amounts using these bar models.